timing is important. And so as we get into this area, knowing who to talk to, this is very important because we want to know who to talk to. Watch this, you guys. John 19 and 10. Let's go there. John 19 and 10 from the New Living Translation. It reads like this. It says, "Why don't you talk to me?" Pilate demanded. This is Jesus here. He's speaking to Jesus. "Don't you realize that I have the power to release or crucify you?" This is Pilate talking to Jesus. And now this is Jesus here entering into the last phase of his life and of his earthly life and getting ready to fulfill not just a prophecy but promise here. And Pilate was a man per se of power, and he was disturbed at the lack of talk that he was getting from Jesus. All right, he was very disturbed. He was disturbed and confused. All right, now watch this. Let me throw a little plug in there in regards to that, because when you don't talk as much to the enemy gets confused. All right. And so you have to be very careful of who you talk to and what that person thinks that they can do for you. Now, let me help you right here again in regards to the scripture. It says, "Why don't you talk to me?" Pilate demanded. "Don't you realize that I have the power to release or crucify you?" He says, "Do you not realize that I have the power to control you?" Isn't it funny how people think that they control you just because of what position that they are in? Isn't it funny how people think that they can tell you what they want to tell you and make you do what you want to do just because of the position that you are in? But Jesus shows us a great lesson here, that you don't have to always entertain that you don't have to always talk to that, because he knew his purpose. And you see, when you know your purpose and when you know where you're going, you don't have to just talk to anybody. You don't have to talk to people who think that they have control over you, because it's certain people, they literally think that they have control over you. That's what Pilate says. Pilate said, "Don't you realize that I have the power to release you to your people or crucify you?" And it didn't bother Jesus, because Jesus knew exactly where he was going, and he knew his purpose and what he was doing. The problem is today is that, do you understand your purpose? Do you know where you're going? And see, when you know when you're going, you know exactly who to talk to or how much to talk, because the only person that has full control over us is the Lord. When you have a relationship with him, you know that it's God that does everything. He uses people, his created beings, as a conduit, but his created people are not the ultimate power. God is the source. God is the sources and resources. And so whatever power you think you have over me, I'm going to let you know that you don't. And that's what Jesus did. Jesus informed him by not talking to him. That's crazy, because that was driving him insane. You see, the enemy goes very much insane when you're not talking to him. And some of you need to stop talking to the enemy. Stop giving the enemy all of this time. Stop giving the enemy all of the energy that you have, and just be quiet. You see, when you know where you are going, it doesn't matter what the enemy says or does. When you know who you are, it doesn't matter what they say. It doesn't matter what he says. It doesn't matter what she says. When you know who you are and where you're going. Now, let's get back to the scriptures here. Jesus knew exactly what was about to happen. And he knew where he was going, and he knew what he had to do. Do you know where you are going? Do you know what you have to do? When you don't know and you're walking around here confused with no purpose, with no admiration, no motivation, I can understand why all of these things around you are bothering you, and the enemy thinks that he can release you or crucify you.